Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliel. In this incarnation, the moon moved out from Pisces and entered in Aries. Today, usually we have a recharge of energy in here, but many people could be experimenting a lot of tiredness after the eclipse. And yesterday at night, we have this download, a very strong download of energy. Well, meanwhile, the sign Virgo is approaching the South Node and therefore opposing the North Node in Pisces. It is a good moment to notice which kind of barriers and mental preconcepts are emerging, especially the ones that are becoming an obstacle to act in coherence with our soul in different situations, or to trust, to make certain decisions, to trust in the path, in that we have the capacity to face whatever thing is presenting or develop new tools if we need so. Because there where the mind tries to control, it is actually a past version of ourselves, the one that is operating, that unconsciously wants to protect itself from a danger, from the fear of repeating an experience too. And even if we had to deal with the spiral of a similar experience of the past, that means that we have to close something that is not incorporated yet. And in any case, this is an opportunity to do so. It is a good moment to observe those kind of excuses that the mind could create to not move out from the known, that perhaps responded to things that we cannot control, or to ideals of perfection that we cannot reach, because what we need to do in order to develop something, we need to start. We need to begin to put in practice, to be compassive with our own mistakes and to observe them as a bridge to learn something new. It is a very common pattern. It is a cultural thing, not allowing ourselves mistakes. Or even other people, pointing that with excessive criticism. And that speaks of a society where the figures of authority are operating in these ways too, from this incapacity of recognizing their own human limitations, wanting to hide them, because there is a low self-esteem. And the more that we are elevating our self-esteem, the more we lose the fear of being wrong, because we understand that it's something unavoidable. And many generations treated with so much harshness the ones that followed them, uh, confusing discipline with judgment and punishment. And that's why the programming is so implanted. And if I am doing something wrong, others are going to punish me, or we are doing that ourselves, with repeating the pattern inside, which is not the same to face a consequence. Consequences are teaching us things. Punishments generate fear. And with figures of authority, I am talking about the forms of education of children, but also of the people that should be at the service of society. The campaigns. I don't know if this is the expression. Wait, I'm going to Google this. This is my Virgo. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, campaign. I think this is the expression right now, the campaign of election, right? Well, they are usually a montage where the masks are what are presented. And while society, which means the people that are composing, that we are composing society, while we cannot accept our own imperfections, our own humanity, we cannot invoke figures of authority that can develop that same consciousness, that same awareness. And with acceptance, I am referring to be capable of looking at those things that we can improve in ourselves. Because if that generates rejection, the most probable thing it is that we are projecting that in a decision or a way of acting that is not going to contribute. For example, if there is a rejection to observe all these self-exigencies or renouncements that we do to our own soul, that we can develop to be accepted by other people, that is going to be perpetuated in the same actions. But we are also going to feel perhaps a lot of anger because of the denial of our own voice, Or this could also be reflected in people that are very critic, very selfish too. This is going to have a consequence, a reflection. Acceptance is the identification of the acts that are operating in a deviation of the soul towards others, but being able to see that with compassion, to understand from which place they are being originated, because that is the way of transforming them. For example, if someone else makes a criticism that specifically generates a very aggressive reaction, beyond from which place this is being done by other people, the anger is going to show where we have pain, perhaps because of previous experiences, perhaps because we are the ones that we continue to judge ourselves, or repeating the conditioning voices inside. But if someone is operating with distorted intentions and we respond in the same level, things can escalate in first place, and they are going to take us nowhere. Many times these things are only enabling that others can manipulate our energy, and we enter in these dense dynamics. So with acceptance, I am not referring to, okay, I am accepting this and I am going to continue in the same line of doing something that is causing me harm or is leading me to sustain situations in my life that I don't want, but because that turns into denial. But it is about practicing to be present, to take ourselves to different actions. And if we make mistakes, of course, we come back to the practice once and again, as if we were learning to talk or to walk or to paint, because it is the consistency in the tiny acts in the daily life what generates the big results. There is the magic, with quotation marks, of the Virginian energy. Because one thing that was very difficult once, it starts to flow because we are practicing that. It is the sustained practice that leads us, or lead us, I don't know if that expression is correct, to a greater materialization. Many decisions that are aligned to the soul, they are creating a life that reflects that. And naturally, we're going to face challenges in the process, because how can we be aware, if we are really listening to ourselves, if those challenges wouldn't be there? What the axis Pisces Virgo actually is showing us is that there is no magic. At least not from this fantasy in which something or someone is saving us from our reality, but there are dreams, potentials, miracles, and possibilities that are the reflection of what we are sitting while we are cultivating each time a greater consciousness about what is happening inside of us, in the acts that we are impulsing, whether no matter if this is not perfect, without caring if we have things to improve from the perspective of Virgo, that actually is revealing who we really are in essence. From the perspective of Pisces, this is about getting rid of the conditionings that are limiting the light that we already are. But if we observe this from the totality, conditionings are also part of the experience of unfolding ourselves. First of all, because not every conditioning is necessarily a limitation. A person could be conditioned to, I don't know, speak many languages, so when he or she was a child, or to live in nature and to experiment nature, as it happens in many cultures. That I think that is something that I think we should recover in our society in general. But the thing is to recognize where there is an automatic pilot that is disconnecting us from life, and when our heart is present, and if we are focused, if the areas or the focus right now is in coherence with that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.